The time was 13:27 hours on 3 June 2015. Hawaiian Airlines Flight 36 took off as scheduled from Honolulu to Phoenix, and in so doing, made history. For the very first time, aircraft communications addressing and reporting system data would be transmitted over swift broadband on a commercial aircraft. And this use of satellite-delivered, secure, always-on internet connectivity to aircraft cockpits could transform the airline industry forever. But first, the Inmarsat swift broadband service underpinning Cobham Satcom's AVIATOR system would need FAA approval as a safety service. To that end, Cobham and Inmarsat partnered with Hawaiian Airlines to run key in-flight evaluations.
It's very important when you undertake something like this to have good industry partnerships, and to have Hawaiian Airlines join us along with Inmarsat, it was a real coup for us, because we really needed a forward-looking airline that could appreciate what this new connectivity, this new faster, lighter, smaller system could do for their operations tomorrow and in the future.
Hawaiian Airlines agreed to equip its fleet of Boeing 767-300 aircraft with the current generation of their AVIATOR swift broadband solution to transmit ACARS, ADSC and CPDLC messages, and then collect data on the quality of the communication from ground to aircraft and back.
As we were developing our eFly concept, electronic flight information environment, we looked towards our 767 fleet and realized that its ability to download data would not be sufficient to fully benefit from the concept that we had developed. The amount of information that we can provide to crew members in flight, to the pilot crew, is vastly improved by having this installation on the aircraft.
Essentially what we're measuring in this evaluation is speed of a message to go from the aircraft back to ATC and then back to the aircraft again. We're measuring if the messages are consistent within requirements for the FAA, things like RCP 240, RSP 180. So far, we are meeting, in most cases exceeding, those requirements. AVIATOR S will allow for airlines to operate FANS routes over swift broadband. FANS routes allow aircraft to operate in reduced separation, meaning more aircraft closer together. When they do fly the FANS routes, they have better fuel burn. They get more direct routes, which directly impacts the airline's bottom line.
With the approval of swift broadband as a safety service, coupled with extensive network enhancements and the purpose-built AVIATOR system, pilots will have dedicated IP connectivity to the cockpit with real-time access to critical data.
Approval of swift broadband in regards to fast data transmission is a big step, a big improvement for pilots. In the past, prior to this system, it would take several minutes to send and receive messages via data link. And now it just takes seconds, literally seconds, to send and receive a message. From a safety standpoint, if we can deviate around weather sooner, or if we have an emergency situation where the aircraft needs to divert to an alternate airport, we get that information out to the air traffic control, to dispatch, and other entities in a rapid manner. We get responses rapidly, and we can operate safer that way. The quality of voice communication has improved so much that it's like using a telephone, your cell phone, or a very good landline. I would say it's a quantum leap forward. Communication is key in safe operations.
It is anticipated that with FAA approval, Cobham Satcom takes an important step closer to shipping their AVIATOR S series. L2 Aviation was responsible for the Hawaiian Airlines installations.
On a very tight overnight schedule, essentially 3-4 nights, L2 has been very proficient in getting an antenna on top of the aircraft and getting the avionics into the EE bay and getting the entire aircraft buttoned back up and ready to go for scheduled operations.
And the result? Evaluation data that is making the aviation industry sit up and take notice.
We have over 50,000 data points now gathered from the performance of the system. And in fact, it's working better than other alternative satellite communication technologies.
The secure IP-enabled flight deck paves the way for